So this is really exciting. We've had a couple webinars this week, and what we love and what we're doing here at Firepoint is really wanting to build that that tech package, that foundation software where you can build this all-in-one and do the add-ons, whatever you want to do, whatever you need to do for your business. And today we're going to bring you another one of those integrations, another company that's just doing amazing things and highlight what they're doing. If you guys have questions, down below, if you're part of our Zoom webinar, at the bottom you're going to see where we have a Q&A section. So please type in questions there. That'll alert us. We can answer your questions real time. If you're joining us on Facebook Live or on a watch party, type your questions in there. We'll also be answering those as we're going. So please chime in. You're a big part of why we're doing this. So please ask the questions as we're going. So without further ado, Rish, tell us a little bit about your company, who you are, what you guys do, and what makes you different as well, because there's a few players in your area as well. So give us a little overview.
Perfect. Thanks so much for having me, Gabe. It's really exciting. I think our roles have reversed since last week when I was interviewing you, but really glad to get this opportunity. I'm Rish from SquadVoice. I'm one of the chief business officer of the company. I'm also one of the co-founders. Essentially, our vision for SquadVoice is to work with teams to really help them triple their conversions. And really the long-term goal is build the best sales funnel there is. And in terms of technology and systems, because what ends up happening today is you have hundreds and thousands of leads sometimes, and you don't know what to do next with it. While the marketing side of it all, with platforms like you guys, marketing has gotten really, really well. But then when it comes to the sales side of it all, we're not quite sure of what the next best move is. We're leaving leads behind, the follow-ups get broken, and because of that, we get poor conversions. And really, SquadVoice, our goal is to come in and help double, triple that over a course of the several years that we work with you, using a combination of data science and ISAs and lead tracking and lead management sort of all rolled into one. So we are in the ISA.
Real quick, Rish, what are those three things again? Because I think that is what makes you guys a little bit unique. And so what
data science, ISAs, and lead management and accountability all rolled into one. So I think that's the key difference. So primarily, we are an ISA company, but the way we operate differently is unlike a lot of ISA services that largely focus on new leads and speed to lead, which is very important. We saw there's a clear opportunity where lots of leads get left behind. In several cases, agents are doing speed to lead themselves, but then it's really the follow-ups on those longer-term out leads, or even your portal leads, your PPC leads that get left behind. And you have a database where 80-85% of it all is left behind in an inactive or a dead stage. That's really where we come in and focus on. We come in, we set up a custom safety net such that your team keeps doing what they're doing. If a lead then gets left behind, falls through the cracks, that's when we're stepping in, have the ISAs come in that are US-based, that are calling, texting, emailing, reaching out to the leads on your behalf. We then live transfer or set up appointments with the ready-to-go leads, continue nurturing the leads that are further out for you, scrub out the leads that are not worth your time, and help you manage the leads once they come to you. So what would happen in several cases is that the lead would come to the agent and again it would get dropped, which is a really, really terrible feeling. So we keep tracking the lead inside the CRM, nudging the agent, helping them keep up, giving them the next best step in through the CRM, but also sharing very good reporting with our partners as to where the leads are, which stages are they in. So we pick this lead from archive. Now it's in your hot stage, and here's the due follow-up. So that at all times, you have a very, very good sense of how much pipeline have we generated for you and have brought back to life from leads you've already paid for and are now with your agents.
Yeah, I think that's key what you're just saying there too, and I want to make sure people catch that. Well, there are several things, I think. So you're focusing on the 80+% of the database that agents are not doing, which is common. We've talked about that. I've talked about that in several webinars now. So, but that's where you guys are really focusing, and you're using the data science to really help identify that and who's there. But it's not just bringing it back up, because sometimes they'll bubble back up and agents lose them again. But everything you're doing is communicating with them through Firepoint. Everything is in Firepoint, so they have full visibility. one thing I want to make sure with any of our partners that we're doing is that everybody has full visibility and that we can see what's happening. So what I want to break down, and I think you have some stuff. So I want to really break down the data science. You're saying, hey, we use data science. What does that mean?
Right. So at the purest level, it's lead scoring, which is not a new concept or technology. It's just making sense of what's already in there. The challenge, however, is that we saw that it's hard enough to give people a score and say, oh, here's a hot lead follow-up. If that were to work, people would be, doing it themselves. Right. Challenge is any kind of scoring is probabilistic. So is it okay if I share my screen?
Please, yeah, please. We're visual creatures. Like I'm already gonna start thinking about something else. Show me what you're talking about.
Perfect. So the first thing we do is we do a CRM audit for you, and it's completely
CRM
free.
Audit. Like you're
the idea is to
tell me how terrible I am.
It's anonymized right now, so we don't know whose database this is. This is a Firepoint team, and I'm not going to tell you who it is.
We've done this on mine, so if it's terrible, it might be mine and I thought we were doing great, but
Right. The idea is that, again, we talked about this last week, Gabe, which is you can't improve what you don't measure, right? So the first step is to really come in and tell you, is your database even in a position where we can come in and help? Or do you have mismanaged stages? Are you logging your follow-ups? Are the stages correctly defined? Do you have any remarketing? Do you have your drips on, etc.?
Sorry, I'm going to pause you where I want to make sure people catch it. So are you even saying you guys start with basically this health card, this physical, so to speak, of our database, because you may not be the right fit. It might not.
Absolutely. Yeah. We don't want to sell you something you don't need, because if we do that, it's not going to work out. It's not the best user experience, and that's not the brand we want to build. So the very first step before we pitch you anything is, hey, let us do a free audit for you, tell you exactly what's going on in your business. And it's value adding in terms of we help you identify the choke points in your pipeline, your new lead connectivity, your old lead connectivity, which agents are doing better than others, which sources should you be spending more time on or less time on, and really helping paint a picture to make your system a lot more predictable going into 2020. So this is where it all starts. And from here, we come with this is a big ass report, and I don't think we have the time to go through all of this.
You know how real estate agents love spreadsheets.
I know, right? So we take everybody through this, take them through the numbers, help them understand what we're seeing, and if they see it the same way. And in so many cases, we realize that people are like, yes, I need to do a better job of it. I knew we had a problem, but seeing it now is really, really helpful. And sometimes it's like, guys, you have a killer system. Your agents are crushing it. You're doing so well. You don't have an old leads problem. You guys will be fine. You don't need scopes. Because it doesn't help switch on something that you don't need. So this is where it starts. And we come to you with a recommendation on how much additional dollar pipeline value can we generate for you each month from a database. So
I think you said that earlier, and I want to make sure anybody watching this live or replay, guys, pipeline, like this is a stressful industry. A lot of times, we're wondering what's going on and where are the next deals, especially, everybody talks about the holiday lull, and I don't think you need to have that if you're preparing correctly and you have help, like what you guys provide. But that pipeline is so important to always know what's going on. And I love in our conversations that we've had, how you're going to show that. And I don't know on this report, because we're masking it if it'll show up by agent, but you're breaking it down by the category in Firepoint, by stages, but you can even break it down by agent for everybody, correct? So they can see.
Yes, absolutely. We have a agent lead matrix report, which shows you, and again, they just removed like first names, just kept like initial.
To protect the innocence or the guilty.
But you can actually see which agent, which stage, how many leads, how many did not get a follow-up, where is it breaking. So we come and look at it with you and say, oh, let's analyze your hot stage, see what's going on there. Are you guys doing a good job? Well, great. We don't need to get involved. But these 3 stages, you have a problem. And so let us work with you to identify what it is and how we can best help drive more value from there. So it all starts, but this is even deeper. Like the beginning part of all of this is like your last 12 months, where are your choke points in your pipeline? So in this case, it takes you 5 leads to get to a conversation, 4 nurtures to get to a hot lead, 3 hot leads to get to a closing in 12 months. Which means when you put someone to a hot stage, you guys are crushing it. You're closing 1 in 3, 1 in 4, which is awesome. Larger problem is top of the funnel, middle of the funnel. So really helping you identify where those choke points are. What is your new lead connectivity? What is your old lead connectivity? Where are you dropping the ball? Which agents are driving more business versus others? Which lead sources are helping drive the right kind of conversions, or where are you dropping the ball? What's your customer acquisition cost? Like, people would not understand, or a lot of people would not have the time to know what their cost per closing is. Some of them do, which I think is great. But what is the cost of getting someone to a hot stage? What is the cost of a nurture lead for you from one lead source? Compare Zillow versus Firepoint. You know, everyone has a view on, is it working or not? Well, we have the numbers and they're in your CRM, and we can help put that together. So
answer to this. Here's now where I get so excited when I get on these, because like it hits home. So now I'm not even going to ask for everybody else. I'm just asking for myself, because I think I forgot to ask you this. So when we start with you, we're getting rolling, right? And we'll be able to look at this saying, hey, this is before SquadVoice. This is what it was doing. And now that we're doing this, so you're going to help me actually track to say, hey, is this worthwhile? Am I adding to your bottom line and your pipeline and making it worthwhile? You're literally going to be able to show it to me in real numbers, because I'm going to look at this spreadsheet, glaze over, and want to shoot myself in the head. But you and your team are going to walk us through this and actually break down the numbers for us.
Right, absolutely. So the analytics is something that we're happy to sort of give in, because it's not for everyone. Not everybody's as, you know, data driven, and some people are like, look, just give me a list of, you know, which lead sources should I need to cancel, or like which ones do I need to spend more time on. And we have a ton of ongoing analytical reporting that has everything from scorecards and systems to, you can track everything from people's funnel numbers in terms of, you know, where someone's pipeline is, or which lead source is doing what for you. So we have like a zip code lead source analysis that, again, takes several hours for people to pull up. But again, this can help you optimize where to spend on, where not to spend on. So this is an add-on that we do for you if you want that additional help, because conversion improvement is a function of old leads, obviously, but then it's also a function of decisions. Like, if you stop paying for that one lead source that you don't need to, well, then you actually save money and you can double down on something else that's working well for you. So this is an add-on that we go on an ongoing basis if you want it. Otherwise, the larger part of what we do is we come in, we start working your leads and help you.
Hold on, Rich, one second. I want to back up. There's value here that I think you're skimming over that I want to make sure people get. Let's go back to that other one on this add-on. So what you're saying here also, so first of all, I'm not having to dig up all this crap and send it to you. You're going into Firepoint, you're getting all this data and putting it together. So when I get a call from OpCity or from Zillow or whatever saying, this zip code, I can sell you more, whatever it is, I actually have real data. I have a resource now with you guys with this, so we can see which zip codes are performing and not performing, and or you could even be going, hey, Gabe, based on the zip code analysis, you guys are really doing well here. This is what's happening. You should try to put more here. You can literally.
Absolutely. Like, look at this. Zip code 28, 15.79% conversion rate, and zip code number 31, just 1.5%. Just understand what's going on in that zip code. Maybe it's too close to your office. Maybe you have your best agents there. Maybe zip code 131
more competition versus less competition.
Yeah, because we buy leads by area, yet we don't analyze that. I know a lot of us do, but several of us don't get the time to do so. And when you have a zip code or a lead source you're paying for, it's going to result, you're going to actually see results 3-6 months from now. But then if you can see it this way, you can at least look at this and say, do I have enough hot leads in that area for me to drive value? If I don't have hot leads, I'm not getting those closings. So it's a leading metric that can help solve the problem, because 6 months down the line, you've already lost your money on that zip code. So
right. So, and I love that, because that's something we talk to people about all the time, is like, they're like, I really want this zip code because it's the most expensive homes, the most popular area, but they're spending so much per click or per lead. If they just go right outside of it, where people are still buying in there, but they get the leads for a fraction of the cost, this is literally letting them this is what I love about what you guys are doing, what we're all doing together, is because you now have that foundation piece that's gathering all this information, and now you add on the tools like what you guys are doing, that they can now see the numbers, build it, and make more educated decisions. So that's why I wanted to come back here. This is not a small piece, I don't think, as you're going, especially these teams with larger databases and bigger budgets. It's all about spending our money more wisely. And this is just so key, so key.
Absolutely. Yeah. Because these are all the ways to drive. There are two levers in this business, Gabe. It's agent performance and it's lead performance, right? Like those two levers, if running well, you can actually drum up a lot more business. And again, at the end of the day, this is Moneyball. Like it's supposed to be indicative, which is, oh, let's go look at this one area and see what's up. As opposed to, oh, these things are looking fine. I don't need to spend as much time worrying about them. So we do this as an add-on on an ongoing basis for teams that want to be a lot more wired in terms of, hey, we need to really, these are our goals going into 2020. Help us figure out what we should be doing on XYZ. And again, we use numbers to make decisions. But again, numbers are indicative. Obviously, based on this, we may not know something that you know because you're the expert, but at least it can help point to the problem in a meaningful way.
Are these real numbers on this? Is this real numbers out of the account?
These are real numbers, yes.
I mean, could you imagine? Like, I get so excited. But looking at these two examples you showed, the 1.5%. There were 200 leads that this office had to filter through to get to 3 closings. And I can see why, because that was a decent price range. But you go down to the 15.9%, you know what? Yeah, it's 160 whatever thousand less.
60, yeah.
But you know what? I only had to comb through 19 leads to get to 3 closings. My time is money as well. Like, I love the picture that this paints. I just love it.
Yeah.
Sorry. All right, go ahead. I'll stop interrupting.
No, this is exactly the idea. And you can compare one lead source. You can compare a zip code and seeing what's happening there. You can compare a certain time frame and really see or which zip codes are your highest converting zip codes, which ones haven't had any closing at all, like really help you optimize your spends. Also from an agent performance point of view, like you can look at someone's pipeline and say, oh, you're running behind or you're running fine. Like literally take this to a one-on-one over and above what you're already doing in the CRM. And I think Firepoint's dashboards are fantastic based on everything I've seen. This just takes it one step further where it's all in one single place. And you can sort of look at trends and patterns slightly over and above what's already inside the CRM. But yeah.
Love it.
But again, this is an add-on. We're happy to come in if more help is needed. But our heart and soul is.
Everybody knows. So we did post a link, guys, in the chat, and I believe we've posted it probably on the Facebook Live as well. Guys, there's the one thing I love about what Rish and his team and SquadVoice, it's not a one-size-fits-all. There's different ways they're going to analyze your database. So pricing question stuff, they really need to look at your database to see how they can help you.
Absolutely.
That makes sense. So click on that link and let them know. I think you guys have some promos you're going to offer. We're going to get to that at the end. I want people to like listen to what's going on. So I just want to make sure everybody knows we did post those links to sign up for that CRM audit, that Firepoint audit of your database. And guys, to raise the level in everybody's database. If you're watching this, you're not Firepoint, I would love to have you, but still reach out to these guys. We're going to get in there and analyze that for you. So just know what's going on. So, all right, sorry, Rich.
That's perfect, Gabe. I think, we believe in, adding value however which way we can. And our expertise clearly is numbers. We're a bunch of nerds. So we're getting like real estate nerd t-shirts they're in the works. We're getting those printed. But happy to send people more of those if they feel the same way. But anyway, so this is where it all starts, and this is the heart and soul of what we do. And let's say we come back to you and say, Gabe, we believe there's like 10 to 15 million in additional pipeline that you're leaving behind in your CRM each month that we will reactivate for you.
A month. Or it could be slightly lower. Again, it depends. We have teams where we do like 30 to 40 mil additional pipeline each month. So it really depends on size of database, price points, areas you're in, what your team's already doing, quality of lead sources, a bunch of variables at play. But we come in, run our numbers, and try and give some kind of estimations as opposed to saying, hey, you have 10,000 leads, give us $3 a lead and we'll see what happens. So that's the one big difference in the way we approach this. And from there, we come in, set up a safety net, and that can be configured on how your team runs. So if your team is really good at speed to lead, for instance, we can come in and, let's say your team does calls for the first 10 days and they do it really well. And again, this can tell us
how well you connect after a week, 2 weeks, etc. Well, we can come in on day 10 or day 11 if the lead is still unconnected. But let's say it's a longer term out nurture opportunity, we can come in after 4 or 5 weeks if there's no conversation. So the idea is not to create any redundant pipeline, only add on top of what your team's already doing. So in that sense, we're like a cleanup crew, a safety net, whatever you want to call it. Insurance, Inman called us the insurance for your CRM in some ways.
Well, I just love how customized it is, right, to the team, to who you're working with. And then one thing, I'm going to say one more thing about this spreadsheet before we move on. When I first saw this the very first time, I'm like, oh, guys, when he goes through this with you, it makes sense because it's tailored to your business. So the lead sources are your lead sources, the agents, what's going on. It makes sense because when I first saw one, it wasn't my office, it was a different one. Man, when it's your office, it's your money spent, and you're seeing your agents, your lead, it makes sense. So don't let this intimidate you because they put it together, they pull everything out of the CRM for you, and then they go over it with you.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, Gabe. And yeah, it can be overwhelming, guys, but we try and paint a very unbiased picture of, and we let the numbers speak for themselves. There will be instances where if you don't mark your closings in your CRM, which you and I discussed how important it is, it affects other things. If you don't change your stages, it affects other things. So that can then reflect in terms of what you're seeing. But anyway, so let's say this happens, we come in, we set up, and then we go live and we start working. I think the easiest way for people to sort of understand how this operates is we prepared a quick demo of how this looks inside Firepoint so people can quickly see what's going on. So here's an example of a lead. So Teresa is now closed, but if you go back in time and see what's up, so Teresa got created, got called by the agents, there was a note, there was some follow-up, and after a while, well, not moving, not interested, the lead was like, it didn't move. They're not responding, move to trash or archive or what have you.
You agents and team leads watching this, you all know that's true. As soon as you get it's not even a not moving or it's a I'm just looking or oh, I'm a year out. We all know what the majority of the agents are doing. It's out of mind. And that's still a valid opportunity.
Yeah. And so we then did our lead scoring. We look at several variables. We saw that the algorithm threw up this lead as, oh, this is a potentially hot opportunity worth reaching out. We reviewed it. Looks like nobody's really following up. It's in a stage that we can follow up on based on our safety net. Now, if this lead were, say, an agent sphere, we can carve those out. We can carve out certain lead sources, carve out certain stages, carve out even some agents. So it's a complete custom setup according to how your business operates. But let's say this was a lead we could have worked on. So our ISAs then started emailing this lead. We texted them. We followed up.
Again, everything you're doing is in Firepoint. You're watching this happen at all times.
Exactly.
So if you shut it off, you can turn it off, but don't do it.
Yeah. And the call notes are all logged in there. We text and send alerts as well in terms of what's happening. And then we can live transfer the lead to the agents. We can distribute them out. We can send it to one person. We can send Spanish-speaking leads to specific agents.
You guys can drop them in our ponds, right? Too?
Yeah, we can drop them
into a pond. So if we have our ponds, guys, and you have all your agents that work a certain area or whatever it is, Rich and his team can literally, once they get it, drop it in that pond, notifying everybody at once. So the speed to lead isn't just at new registration, it's when they're ready to go as well.
Yeah, and then we can broadcast those leads out to whoever claims it first. We can send leads to your lender if they want to get pre-approved. We can send listing leads specifically to certain agents. So it can be configured. And then we log the calls, log the notes, also log the call recordings every time. So there's complete transparency as to what's going on. And
that's
then from there,
about you guys too, from what I'm seeing. And again, I want everybody to do what's best for you, but I'm a huge proponent, as you can see, you're scrolling up. Was the reason we built call recording in Firepoint is I want to be able to listen to what my agents are saying to help them and coach them to higher conversion. Well, the same thing, if I've got, ISAs or even a third-party ISA company, I want to have access to some of these calls. Or if you live transfer it and I'm calling them back because you said at 3 o'clock, man, I'd love to listen to that phone call to hear what's going on. I love that you guys provide that link.
It's important to have transparency because there's always, like, ISA quality is such a large question. Everybody has a certain view. And in several cases, our goal is to open the door. We're not doing the agent's job, and agents are best suited for them. We're just the assistants. But then it's so critical that at all times there's transparency, because if someone turns around and says, hey, this was a dud lead, well, sir, here's your call recording. Let's review it together and tell us what you think. And is it a dud lead, or did people not follow up properly? Whatever it is, if it's actually, there's proof in the pudding, right? So you can actually go in, and that's really the idea, is to make it very transparent. And obviously there are some times where human error happens. You make a bad quality phone call and you still learn from it, but the transparency helps make it easier for everybody to have the same expectations in terms of, this was the conversation with them.
I think, yeah, for what you just said, I think that it goes deeper than that too. And I would just 100% transparent. I want to use what you guys are doing as well for coaching, right? If I can play that in an office meeting or a sales meeting, saying, listen, how they overcome these objections. Here's somebody you guys threw in the trash. Here are 3 phone calls that got it back to appointment. Right? Like, this is all working together as one team and one entity. And then not only that, it's also building the confidence in the team when you guys are transferring it, because they know. So I think there's so many benefits. It's just something I really want to highlight.
No, I appreciate that. No, that's a great point. But yeah, never thought about it like that. But now that you say it, it makes sense.
There you go.
Perfect. So then this lead now goes to the agent, and they start, working it, sending more homes, and now closed. So lost opportunity, now closed. But again, we're not working every single lead there is. So let's say your team's already in touch with someone. So in this case, Taylor, you go back, they're like, oh, tried register initially, got some home valuation emails, got some white lopo going. They completed a call, they're following up. There's no reason for us to touch this lead because an agent's already on top of it. So that gets excluded from the safety net. We don't touch it. Life goes on. So there's no redundant pipeline ever.
And automatically, guys, right? So when you set this up, like in that instance, if you've set an appointment and you're doing something, just by changing the status in Firepoint to appointment set or hot or whatever you guys set up with SquadVoice, like, it's customized to you, so they know, hey, this is out. We're not touching this. We leave it alone. And then the same thing, if they thought it was hot and they ghost you, stand you up at the property showing, they don't call you back, and your agent's like, that's okay, I've got 15 more people. They can now put it back into nurture or whatever you guys decide. It's all automatic through our integration and partnership with them. They know instantly now. It now falls in with our guidelines to pick this back up and start going.
Right, and there's an intangible benefit to that, Gabe, which is it allows everybody and gets them into a habit of logging stuff inside the CRM, because now, well, sir, if there's a lead in the unconnected stage and there are no notes, no call logs, no state change, we'd assume that lead's not in touch with anybody, and it's a lead that's falling through, and we'll work it. And there may be an instance where an agent says, oh, like, I was already working this person. Well, if it's not in the CRM, did it even happen? And it's not, the idea is not to penalize anyone, but it is still important from a brand point of view that your leads get reached out to. And if they're not, then it's not helping. So it also gets everybody into the nice habit of updating the CRM, which then help everything else going forward, making your business more predictable, better decisions on lead sources, lead spends, all of those nice things.
Right? That's the idea. Is we have all these tools, and you and I both know, because we see inside of other people's databases all the time, we're using such a small percentage of the tools. But I think when we start partnering and we integrate with companies like you, and we can now show them the benefits, it clicks, right? It makes sense how this is now going to allow me to work more efficiently. Because it's really easy to say, hey, just work smarter, not harder, use your technology. Okay, well, how and why? Yeah. Now we can show them. And I love how visual this is and apparent that it's going to be to everybody by using the tools and actually getting a process in place and a system in place, how everybody's life, from the agent, the team lead, the lender, the client, everybody's quality of life is going to go up.
Yeah. And lastly, Gabe, we understand that agents get really busy, but if it's a hot lead, they still need help keeping up with it. So we send them contextual nudges even after we send the lead, because we keep tracking it. Here's none of this matters if you don't get closings, and you won't get closings if the leads don't get.
Wait a second. I didn't know this, actually. I just got a big smile on my face. So even though we have a hot, which this happens all the time, and it's kind of outside, you're not reaching out to the client. I'm looking at this mention right here. Yeah. You're coming into Firepoint mentioning Paul's the agent on this, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah. And that's this awesome. Is on our leads for now, but we're working on a system where it can, be on others as well, longer term. It's that's why Assist right now is in beta, because there are so many instances where an agent may forget to change the drip that the lead was on, and they still keep getting those emails where they just spoke with you, and that's bad experience. And it's just almost like a mental checklist usually, and sometimes it doesn't get followed or you forget about it, and there's obviously a right time to do it, right? Or you spoke with this person, you shouldn't have to wait a week for them to get listings. So it's just the next best step in terms of this lead's outcome, and it's a gentle nudge inside the CRM. Hey, can you do 1, 2, 3, 4? And then the minute they start, oh, I've already done that. I've sent the listings, and now I'm talking to them. Hey, this person needs a lender because they're like, oh, I need help with my credit. But we can definitely do something about it. So really just taking the conversation forward. And this is something that in several cases, an admin or a director of operations or sales will have to sample in, spend hours and hours going in and seeing what's happening. The idea is to sort of structure that into a meaningful workflow so that, it's easy for the agents to take the best next step, move the leads to the right places, and also helps drive. I know we use the word accountability in a negative sense, but it really is that ultimately. And the idea also is that it's important that as a brand, the consumers that we're representing get the right kind of outcomes, right? So we send over a hot lead, or Zillow sent over a hot lead. If they don't get the right action points, then there's a really good chance that they're going to drop again because it's so competitive.
Yep.
So we try and close the loop with this end to end. And so it's all there inside the REM for you to see. And then beyond that, we do a ton of reporting, like I said. So the analytics report I shared with you earlier was more of this is your entire CRM and what's happening. We do a value report, which is giving you a transparent view on what have we done for you in terms of the leads we've sent you, what's your projected GCI, what's your projected ROI in terms of where that pipeline is, short-term, long-term, how many have we sent your way, etc., which is pretty straightforward. Mm-hmm. But then the accountability piece kicks in here as well, where we tell you exactly where we picked up the lead, where is it right now, what's their price range, agent, whoever it is, and last activity, which means how long or how many leads have been dropped or aren't getting a follow-up. And again, it helps whoever's managing the program keep a very good sense of, oh, here are our leads. So let's say all our immediate leads in terms of where they are in the CRM. Tracking is really difficult. So, let's check out all the hot leads and see where our 9 hot leads are. Well, some of them are good, but some of them agents haven't been following up. Well, you have to, maybe they took it out of the system and we got word that, hey, they're following up. They're just not logging it, but they're good. But, you can at least clearly see, oh, trash lead moved to hot, trash lead moved to hot, qualify lead moved to hot, whatever that may be. It's still an opportunity that we were able to, bring back to life.
This is an admin tool. It's really a team lead tool to see what's going on. This is not on a per agent. This is really for you to have that oversight. Where's your money going, and what is SquadVoice doing for you to really increase that pipeline and that ROI?
Absolutely. So like you can quickly see, let's see how much they did on the trash leads. So let's see the trash leads that went from trash to hot, and then pick out one lead, say William, and really tells you, before we came in, William just got 2 calls. Now, William Hot has got 2 more calls, but is maybe nearly not enough, and maybe we could do more. But at all times, it gives you perspective of where that lead got dropped, where it is right now, helps you keep up. And again, after a while, it may get admin heavy, which is why we also work with the agents to nudge them, tap them on the shoulder, help them keep up with that pipeline.
Very cool.
So that's how the product.
We're like 35 minutes, and I know there's more to even talk about, but what I don't want to do, I want to give people a highlight of what's going on. Also, I'm excited because here in about 45 days or 90 or both, we're going to come back together actually with some teams that you're now working with. Tom and his Boise team is going to be one of those where we're turning you loose, and we get to kind of put you in the hot seat and go, all right, here's what you guys were able to do, where we're going to show real numbers now with the integration done and all that. I mean, a lot of this was real numbers from the report that you did, the scorecard or health card report card for the CMA or CRM, but we'll actually be able to have real numbers, what you've been doing starting January 1 through Q1 for people to see.
Yeah, very excited about that. I know the team is too, and we'll be going live with Tom and team on Friday. So
great. I'm excited. Guys, again, look in the chat. There's a link in there. Reach out to them. There's zero cost for you guys to do the report.
The first report, the audit is just on us. It's a way for us to add value, but also select the right kind of customers that will find value in this product. So you have to have a certain size of a CRM, ideally at least 7 to 10,000 leads in there, and you're adding maybe 150 to 300 new leads at least each month.
Who's the ideal client? Like, I want to make sure.
So you're ideally a team, and if you're not a team, you're at least having, even if you're a brokerage, you have a leads program, but everybody's using that same CRM. At least have 150 to 300 new leads come in and about 7,000 to 10,000 old leads in the CRM. That's usually a good starting point. Anything lesser than that, our product's not quite yet suited for some of the smaller teams at that point, but we're working on it. But that's really where it's a good starting point to come in and drum up more value from those leads that got left behind. So
I love that. I love that. So fantastic. So again, guys, check out the link. Reach out to Rich. If nothing else, put him and his team to work. Get that report card and use it for your goal setting for 2020. But man, if it fits for you, I mean, when you talk to them and rewatches, I mean, to me, it's a no-brainer. So check that out. I know they have some promos, some Firepoint specials, and stuff like that.
No, we have a Firepoint special. So the first 5 customers that qualify after we complete their CRM analysis, they're a good fit. We'll only sell you SquadVoice if you're a good fit, if we know we can drive value. We have a promo for the first 5 customers that come in through that, and a 40% discount on your first month. But in terms of pricing, like Gabe said, it's very custom. So we'd be happy to talk about it and then share you the details.
Yeah, super exciting. All right, guys, we're going to wrap this up. Please reach out to them, reach out to us if you guys have questions. We will be following up with live numbers, real numbers to see what they're doing, how it's going. Rish, thank you so much. I know it's a crazy busy week wrapping up the year, but I'm excited to get going with you. See what you guys are doing.
I appreciate it. Really excited to talk with you guys.
Perfect. Us too. So take care, everybody. Happy holidays, and you'll see us on here again soon.
Thanks so much, everyone.
Thanks. Bye-bye.